Set up. I'm going to press in. All right. Welcome, everyone, so much to this episode of Maker Stories with me, Maria Marquis, Coda's Chief Cheerleading Officer, or at least that's what I tell people my title is. I love to just sit down with makers, celebrate the great work and their creativity that they're doing, and just nerd out about Coda. Now, my maker today is Martine. Martine, do you want to introduce yourself to the group so they can know a little bit about you?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Martin Vilches. I'm from Ecuador. Pretty excited to be here. I know Maria from my doctorate program. It was about 2 or 3 months ago, I don't believe. I don't know. But anyway, nice to see some familiar people here. And yeah, so I'm from Ecuador. I run a business here, a home automation business. It's a smart home business. So we do all kind of cool stuff regarding lighting control, audio, video, home theaters, and all that. So pretty excited to be here and to show you how Coda have been able to help me run my business.
Amazing. And Martine was giving me just a little hint earlier, and it's so cool, everyone. I'm so excited to share it with you. But I want to make sure that everybody knows a little bit of how the logistics are going to work today. We are recording today's session, so you can go ahead and rewatch it or share it with all your friends and family. But even though Martine and I have a lot of things we want to share with you, we also want to hear from you. So if you have a question, a comment, an idea today, please just use the Zoom webinar chat feature. So along the bottom of the screen, you should see a little chat bubble. You can click on that, it'll open it up. If it's not along the bottom, it's probably at the top. Just take your mouse, put it to the top of your screen. You'll see a little drop down from Zoom. You can click on chat or ... chat, depending on your Zoom situation, and we'll hear from you. My job is to keep a very close eye on that chat field. So if you have a question today, you don't need to wait for Martine and I to stop talking. I'm watching it. I'll make sure Martine knows, and we'll have a really good conversation. We'll also have plenty of time at the end. So if you're the type of person who likes to kind of sit back, listen in before you ask your questions, we can talk at the end as well. But today is a conversation between all of us. Okay, so Martine, let's start off with how are you currently using Coda today? So where does Coda fit in your business?
We are actually using it for almost everything. We have only two sections of our business that we still manage in external apps. One is accounting, so that's not, I mean, that's okay. The other one is a proposal tool, which is made specifically for our business, for our industry. Let's say it's not for us, it's for our industry. So and we, even though we could create like a proposal tool in Coda, was one of my ideas early on. I didn't want to do it that way because of all the things that tool already does for our industry. So it keeps my my product information and pricing attached to my vendor. So it's a pretty cool app. So we and I'm going to show that later. We did kind of a very simple integration. I wouldn't say an integration itself, but there's a kind of thing that we did between those two apps to keep everything in Coda. But other than that, everything is in Coda. We run everything there. I mean, from the CRM, all the opportunities, projects, all the tasks, meetings, everything, inventory, everything is in there. And I still have a lot of things to do, but I just don't have much time. But there are definitely some things I have in my to-do list.
I love it. Well, that's the great thing about Coda is you can always be changing your mind or evolving your thinking, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
let's paint the picture of the past. So before Coda came on the scene, what were the problems or challenges that you were hoping to solve?
Okay, so first of all, I'm passionate about this type of tools. So I've been using a lot of tools from a lot of time. I've always tried to find the right tools to be more productive and to be more efficient in our team. So it's like kind of my natural way to proceed in this type of stuff. So before Coda, we were using an app similar to the one that I already mentioned for our industry. It was more a wider app, but it was still made more for service and technical. So it was like kind of our industry. And I was pretty excited about that because of how it manages our own workflows. But the problem was, first, it was very expensive. Second of all, we didn't take advantage of all the. It was like too big for us, I believe. A lot of tools or internal tools in the tool itself that wouldn't fit to our business. So once the pandemic began, I had to, of course, cut costs in every possible way. And of course, one of the first things that I did was to just get rid of that application and started to once again do my research to do what was the next step. And then I found Coda, so I fell in love in the very first day, and started building my first doc. So I basically did that for a year or more, and then once I got COVID, the first time, because I had two times. The first time, I was of course alone in my room, and had plenty of time to do my second version of the doc, and that's what I'm going to show today.
What I was like, what a silver lining. Like, okay, well, at least I have 10 days where I know that I'm going to be building. I do have one.
I wouldn't. It wasn't. I mean, I wouldn't do that. Be able to do that if it wasn't for COVID. I'm grateful of COVID.
Yeah, thank you, COVID. Who knew we would say that? I have just one question. You had mentioned like expensive. You know, the previous tool was really expensive. And Coda, you know, we only bill for doc makers. How many people on your team are doc makers versus just free editors?
Okay, so we are 8 people in our team, and we had only up until yesterday actually 2 makers, myself and another coworker, which I sometimes when we are building new stuff, he jumps in and I grant him access as a maker, and then if he's not doing so much, so I just take it away. That actually yesterday I took it away.
Amazing.
That's a cool. I mean, that's a cool thing about Coda. I mean, regarding the pricing structure.
Yeah, you could sort of do whatever you need to in that moment. I love it. We have a private chatter here saying, "I love nothing better than doing a second version of a doc based on learnings from the first." This is something I do every year. I revisit a doc, my sort of full life management doc, and I revisit it and go, now that there's other features, like what might I want to do now?
Yeah, that happened with Coda 3.0, and I'm just thinking, is it time to make my third version? But I don't think I will do it now.
Also, everybody, just a reminder here, you don't have to wait for Martine and I to stop talking if you have a question, because let's be honest, I could talk to Martine all day. So if you all have a question, just post it over there in chat. Totally happy to do that right there. Oh yeah, and I love this, Victor. You know, my concern is Coda suitable for large companies like the one I work for with more than 800 employees? The good news for you, Victor, is that not everybody in your organization needs to be a doc maker, which means a lot of them could be free. And it's really easy to say, great, I'm going to give you access to be a maker. Now I'm going to take it away. And we have a whole sort of user management Coda doc actually that you can use to manage your entire thing. And Victor, feel free to give me a direct message. Happy to hook you up with someone who can help you kind of figure out how that might be workable given your budget. So you just let me know. Pretty good question here. We've been sort of circling around. We have the context, right? So now, Martine, let's take a look at your doc. And do you want to start with the diagram or what do you think?
I think that'll be better just to put everything in context. Let me.
And while you're pulling that up, Martine, Femke, as far as like when to make a new doc versus just expand, it really just depends on your organization, right? Some companies that I work with, they have one doc that's like the everything. Some companies I work with create, you know, one core doc for everyone, and then teams have their own little mini universes. It really just depends on the business, and every business is a little bit different. So let's see how Martine runs his business. Walk us through what we're looking at here, Martine.
So yeah, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Just I as I was telling before Maria, I basically created a very simple diagram to show how our structure is made in Coda. So we have 3 different docs. This is one doc, this is another one, and this is another one. And this is an external doc and I will show that later. So basically we have 4 docs, and we use crossdoc for everything. So here's my CRM doc. And this is not everything what it has, but I made this yesterday, so I just want to highlight the basic stuff that we have here. So we manage all the opportunity. We create a customer, we create the addresses, the contacts, and of course manage the whole opportunity there. We have meetings, and I will show that in a little bit. We select the partners that refers our projects, so they then have access to this external doc, which I'll show you in a minute. And of course, all the opportunities, when I mark this as one, then I travel to my second doc, which is this one, right? So this is a project doc, and I will show it in a minute. And then when we finish the project, we go to our third doc, which is a service, the service doc. And so it's not that we go to one. I basically manage all of those, but we have people in our team that works only on this one, people in our team that works only on this one, and only on this one, right?
And Martin, I'm thinking about to Femke's question, that in this case, it made sense to have multiple docs, because if I'm just working on a project, I don't need to be working in the CRM. It's not applicable to my role, right? I'm just focused on this project, so it helps me have that connection. Same thing with the service. Whereas you, Martin, you're playing across all of them because you've got that overarching view.
Right. Exactly.
Very cool. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So this is the first talk. It's a very simple CRM, but basically we have here our dashboard, our opportunities. We are a group of 2 companies, so we have separate opportunities here, divided by company. And here are like the latest opportunities that had some modification. So it appears here the last 4 or 5. So this is a very basic dashboard. It is, the first part here is synced with our with the Google Calendar. So this let me create a meeting, or I'm sorry, it's in Spanish. So, but anyway, yeah, this is.
Don't apologize for Spanish. I love it. It's helping me learn.
Yeah. So I can create a meeting from here or an opportunity from here. That's like the main dashboard. We have a calendar view, which I really don't use it. I just use the main dashboard and create opportunities from here. A couple of things like tasks or activities, which I can show you later. And this is our main opportunities. We have several views for this, but here's where we manage everything. So let's do a quick example. So let's say I have an opportunity here with Maria. So I create an opportunity here. It gets the name of, and of course I can edit it. Then I have to select the customer, but Maria doesn't exist in my database, so I will create Maria.
Like, ooh, do I want cool lighting? Do I want a home theater system? Do I want both?
Right. So yeah, so basically, yeah, we have this attached to the Google Maps, so it shows here the map. And once I create Maria, I will go here and add Maria, estimated closing date, priority. Tomorrow. Maria, it's 3 stars. So here's who refers the customer. So I will select one of our architects that worked with us, just for you to see what happens next. I think this is not important right now, and let's say 10 grand, and that's it. So this is our opportunity. Once it's created, I can of course see Maria here as in a new stage. And we travel from new to quote, then quoted, and finally we win or lose the opportunity, right? So when I have an opportunity that I win, and of course one cool thing that we use here, and this happened as soon as I click the button here in the opportunity, when I created opportunity, it also creates a first meeting, because it's already in my calendar. So it also creates a first meeting. So here in my opportunity view, in my layout, I have here the meeting.
Oh,
which was created from,
cool.
yeah, was created from Google Calendar. So when I enter my meeting, I can create a Zoom link if it's going to be a virtual meeting, and then I can add the attendees. Let's say I'm going to add myself. I can add several people here, and then with the formula map, I add this to the attendee list. And then if I want to update, because this is actually pulling from my contacts, so I can use here this field to update the contact. So if I check here, I can then update, let's say, the email address, and of course delete it. So this is the meeting. So I start writing everything I need to take down in the meeting, and after that's done, and if of course if I have a task attached from this opportunity with this meeting, I will add it here. And at the end, I will just send an email with like a meeting minute. I actually create a draft just for me to take a look at if
Sure.
I need to insert an attachment or any other thing. So if I go to my draft here's the meeting minute
Nice.
with the logo, with all the details, and of course all the people that I included. The email addresses will be here,
Yeah.
and the signature. So this is one of the things that we do a lot in our first, especially the first meeting, when we get all the needs from our customers. So at the end, when we finally, eventually, and hopefully win the opportunity, we mark this as one and create a new project. Okay. Once I create a new project, of course, it no longer shows here, and then it travels with a cross-dock function pack, let's say, to the other dock, which is here. Well, to the other
Oh,
docks, actually.
and Martine, before we go
Yeah.
into the project doc, folks are super interested in your email button. Could you show how you configured it to have like your signature and all the stuff? I just love for emailing
Yeah.
notes.
Yeah, sure. First, let me see if I remember, and if I do,
Let's
I
see,
will.
what did past Martine do?
Yeah. So, but basically, what I do, let me see here in my database. I have an email template here.
Mhm.
So what I'm actually doing is I have here the email template, which is this one,
Oh, I
um,
see.
and then I have here, and I try to always organize it like it's a table within the template itself, right? So what I'm actually doing with that button, it's that I'm populating this table, and then I'm sending this page in my email.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. So basically, this changes every time anyone clicks on that button.
Yeah. So, folks, if you might be newer to Coda, let me break down what Martine's done something really cool here, which is creating an area like a page to be the sort of holding ground for what he's working on. So, if you, Martine, could you just right click underneath Detalle where you've got your notes?
Yeah, sure.
So, what Martine has done
Let me
here,
see.
oh, yes, unlock, is Martine saying, hey, look at that table and I want you to pull out whatever the notes column is.
Exactly.
So he pushes the button, which populates the table with the details from that meeting. Like, I'm ready
Yeah,
to write an
this one.
email, right? So it gets populated here. Then on his little holding page where we've got the signature and everything, um, under Detalle, he just put, hey, take whatever is in that table right now and pull out the notes page and put it there. Then he's
Right.
done the same thing with
With
the
date,
date, which is fecha, and then
right?
also asunto, which is the subject. So notice
Subject.
he's just using that table to be like, this is where all the stuff, all the ingredients for my email needs to live. And then here, he's saying, okay, I'm going to break it down and go, this is where the first ingredient of the date goes. This is where the next ingredient, the name of the meeting goes. This is where the next ingredient, the notes go. And then he's just included his signature and an image there on this page. So when he chooses to create the draft, it's just taking this page's details and putting it into his email. So
Right.
he's done some really great things about giving himself some storage areas. which is really cool. Also, I love it. One of our private chatters is saying, hey, I use the same approach in an invoice generating system.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, exactly. So this is something we can do with Coda is once you have information in a table, you can then access it in a bunch of different ways by just saying, hey, table, what's in the notes field? And it'll put it in here for you.
Right.
And then how do we get the content into Gmail? You're just using the Gmail pack, right,
Yeah.
Martine?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Gmail pack. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's basically a Gmail pack, and then creating a draft. I could definitely automatically send it. I just prefer to, in the case of a meeting, I just prefer to send a draft to my Gmail and then just open it here. And especially if I want to add some attachment, or I try to do that. I don't know if that's already something I could do in Coda, but when I try to do it, I mean, with attached images, they were like, it was attaching, but thumbnails, and it were very hard to be able to expand those. So I just prefer to do it on a draft and then send it.
Yeah. And we've got some product questions, which I'm happy to answer. Is Gmail the only email browser this works with? Currently, but I do know that an Outlook pack is being built right now. And with the introduction of Coda Pack Studio, anybody can build a pack on top of our platform, and packs are essentially an integration. But I do know that an Outlook one is in the very late stages of development. Yeah, great questions, y'all. Excellent. All right, Martine, let's take a look at the project doc now.
Yeah, well, this is like the admin doc. Here, let me just go ahead and sync my project, because it actually it's a cross doc which syncs each hour.
Cool.
Yeah, to get Maria to this doc, I need to sync it, right? So so the first thing that happens here is that, yeah, once I have my project, let me go ahead and, okay, so this is my dashboard. In this case, when we close a project, we need to order all of the products, of course, and this is like the main dashboard to see what we have ordered. And since we are in Ecuador, we need to import, we need to do, there are a lot of different steps. So this like pending, and this is what is already in Miami, which is where is our freight forwarder, then everything is in transit or in customs. So basically these are our orders stages. And in this case, our inventory. So what's in our customer's warehouse, what is in our two warehouses in this case. So, and this is the same thing, but in numbers. And in this case, were our most sold brands and
oh, fun.
and brands and equipment itself. Yeah.
Yeah. And
yeah.
everybody, if you might be new to Coda, what Martine has done here is Martine has one table with all of the purchases in it.
Right.
And then he's just filtering that table. In this case, I want to see it in a word cloud
Right.
based on the brand, or I want to see it a word cloud based on the model. And then up at the top, he's saying, hey, I want to see it as a pie chart organized by where it's located or which warehouse it's in. So it's the same data that's powering this entire dashboard that we're seeing. He's just choosing to pick and choose and filter it as he sees fits based on the questions he wants to answer. And I love how you've done the side-by-side multi-column here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. It was a great addition. So yeah, then we have the first thing we do, and this is what actually I when I mentioned that we did kind of an integration, it actually is not an integration, but this is our main proposal tool. Okay, so it does let me to export this as a CSV data. And then what I do is that actually I have, let me show you, it actually gets like this. And in Google Sheets, I have a macro to create like a Coda format.
Cool.
So it ends like this. And when it is like this, let me just, I'm going to head and just copy. I just copy and paste. So I'm going to do a copy paste here. I go to my doc and go to my portal import here. I select the project, and let me see if you're here already. Yeah, you're here. So I select my project and I just paste everything here. And the cool thing about here is that when I don't have a product in my catalog, it will show me here that I can create a product.
Oh, cool.
And it also shows me if there's if I need to review the cost or MSRP, because sometimes there are changes and maybe I have in my product database that product already, but it doesn't have the same product cost or MSRP.
Yeah.
So basically here I need to continue because it won't let me to import this. To continue, I need to create this product, and then I can import this. So
I love it.
then it will blank the whole table here once it's already imported, and that's it. So now if I go to my project here, I will see that I have in pending all the products that I just copy paste from Portal, which is my quoting software.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's another thing here that you can see, for example, here, and you won't see here. It happens also each hour is an automation, but let me just quickly, and I will show you what this does. Let me go to my projects here, and I have a button here that, let me go at the end. Okay, yeah, here. So I have a button here that creates these insights, and it happens automatically each hour. So, and I'm gonna tell you what this is about. So basically, the first step, it was importing my products, and then what I do is here in the project view, I create the payment terms. So let's say you have to pay $5 grand today, and let's say $5 grand next week. I don't know. So I will have here that I have 0 payment past due. But if the date was, let's say, yesterday, it turns red and I have 1 payment past due. Okay, so the same thing here when I start getting or ordering the products. This is the whole workflow, let's say. So when it actually arrived, you'll start seeing here that let me say, okay, hold on, sorry, I wanted to click IQ. Okay, so for example, I've received 11 out of the 18 products that I need, and the conditional format is turning colors.
Yeah.
Right here. Yeah. So yeah, so this is basically what we do for managing our orders. So this is like a project view, but then we have let's say here is where we actually manage our orders.
Sure.
So let's say, yeah, I have here Maria. I don't know why you're not here, Maria.
Oh, might need to just do one more sync or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Since I'm recently added. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, I just start ordering stuff and changing the states, and it will go from to be ordered to order, and then up until it arrived to my inventory.
Yeah.
And then when it's in the inventory, we also have the shipped when it has already left our warehouse, and that's also another cross-dock that we go to when we go to the service dock, so that the technician that takes the items or the products and they install them, they can mark those as installed. Yeah.
So I just want to pause here because we've got a bunch of really good questions coming through, because it's so robust. And one thing I love personally is that you have that one tool that's like the industry standard, but you figured out, okay, once that tool of like the proposal and everything has served its purpose, now how do I get that information into the place where all of my other stuff is, just by formatting it appropriately, and then just a copy paste can pop it in. But we have a question here from a private chatter, which is, I'm curious how you're using your core database doc with the other docs. This is a concept they hadn't thought of yet, but it's that cross-doc sync table, right? Anything else on that one?
Yeah, so the main or the core data is basically the customer itself. So when I have already create a customer, its location, its contacts, information, and everything, and we transform or convert that to a project. That's all we need. Then everything is already here with and you can actually see here in my cross this that I had, these items here are the ones that are being pulled from the other doc.
Oh, cool. And I love you using the icon to be like a reminder to just like, hey, this syncs every hour or not. So folks who haven't used crossdoc before, what it allows you to do is if you have one Coda doc that's got a big giant database of orders, products, customers, and you want to be able to reference or see that information in other places, you can choose to do a crossdoc, which allows you to say, hey, give me that table and put it here. And that's just something that's available. We got a couple other questions. This is from Graham. Is programmatic or automatic creation of PDFs possible? I recall you can download, but I've always wanted it to be in table automation. Not yet, but you are not alone.
What I did there, I'm sorry to interrupt. What I did, let me show you here. Yeah, here. So let's say this is the payment terms, right?
Yeah.
So I have here like a statement, and I created two buttons. This one uses the same idea of the template.
Populating a page.
Right. So it populates this, and I can just click print, and I have my statement. So this is one way to do it. And the other way I do it is if I want to send it through via email, and that's the same thing that we showed
the email a page. Yeah.
Right. So I don't have your email here, so that's
so I can't get it. But yes, to your question, chatter about PDFs, the answer is kind of. Let's see, we got some other questions here. I just want to make sure I answer. Is it possible to build a page with information about changes in the doc? What I've seen people do is creating a table which allows people to use the modified by and modified on formulas. It won't give you a play-by-play in that table, but it's like a way for people to log changes they've made, which some of my customers who use Coda for wikis like that. But you also can have access to version history. So Martine, let's just show this. Could you just click the ... next to the doc's name in the upper left? Yeah. And then version history. Yes, there we go. If you click on that, it shows you a play-by-play of who made changes and when, and then you can click to where it went and be able to have that. So that's the current state. Yeah.
Right.
Thanks, Martine. We have a question from Karina for you, Martine, which is, are each of these sections separate tables in a Canvas view? How do you get that top insights? How do you get those cards up there at the top here on this entry? The pagos vencidos and the inventario proyecto with the how's that in here? Everyone's like, this is enterprise software. Whoa.
Well, this was made before the new features in Coda. So this is a basic layout, a detailed view with a layout here, and this is a table. So once you get a table here, you can even, let's say, I could have a chart here. I could convert this to a chart, let's say, and it will show like that, right? So it's basically pulling data from a table. And inserted in the detail view.
Nice. And in this case, you're using a formula to populate that, like pull it in, and then I want to see that in table form, and then I can adjust my table view to be card view. But yeah, I love how you've really focused on the visuals here. Like, how should it look? How can I have it tell me exactly what I'm doing there? We have a question here from Fernando, which is, could you share how this doc is shared with your different teams and how you think about kind of keeping information separate or hidden as needed? Can you talk a little bit about kind of how people are involved?
Yeah, so basically we share each doc to only the people who needs to work on that doc. So and that's basically it. So I have, let's say here in this doc, we have these people, and in our doc maybe only one or two. In this doc, only two people work in this doc. Let's say it's myself and another coworker. So it's basically, yeah, it's basically you share the doc and to the people you think they have access to.
Sure. Yeah. And in this case, it sounds like you don't have like a deep need for granular permissions. It's like people who work on the CRM, they get the doc. If you're in a project, you're in the project doc. If you're a partner, you get the external doc, and you've kind of
Yeah,
organized it on a doc by doc basis for
right.
organization.
I mean, it would be great if we could do some granular, and I have done some things. Let's say if I don't want someone that has access to this doc, if I don't want him to have access to this number, let's say.
Yeah.
What I've done sometimes is that I create a formula here and it only shows if it's me, which is
Oh, using the
what we,
user formula. Yeah.
right, right,
Cool.
right.
I hadn't even thought about that. That's a
I
great
actually
idea.
did that here in my dashboard because this is with my calendar, Google Calendar sync, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I did it here. So
Could you show
I
that
can only see
formula?
it. Yeah, let
Let's take a
me.
look. The filter, I should say.
Yeah,
Cool.
this
Nice.
one.
So in this case, we're saying, hey, look at whatever the synced account is.
Right.
I want it to be turned into text so that in this case, we can compare text to text because the email notice how the email chip here, it has a little T next to it that lets me know we're
Right.
dealing with text. So Martina said, hey, take this integration unit called sync account, then take the user of it, convert it into text. And if it's equal to whatever my email is, then I want to rock and roll. Very cool. I'm going to steal that idea. I love that. Martine, we got tons of questions, so I'm just going to keep
Go
asking
ahead.
you them
Yeah.
because
Go ahead.
people are loving this doc, which is amazing. So we have a question from Brendan, which is, how do you find the speed of your doc? It seems pretty snappy, but sometimes areas take a little bit of time to populate. How do you think about performance with this doc, keeping it nice and fast?
I haven't had any problem. The only problem I had recently, and I had to turn off the pack was for the FedEx, UPS, and USPS packs.
Interesting.
Yeah, because we have a lot of, I mean, our orders table, it's really big. So when it syncs and I had that turn on for synchronization each hour. So every time it was syncing, it took a lot of time.
Sure,
So
it has to do everything.
yeah, but then I figured out a way to do it. I just haven't done it in this doc, but I did it in a small doc that I have for another office, which uses this similar structure of the doc, and it worked. But I haven't had the time to do it here. But that was the only pack or the only feature that was slowing my doc. Other than that, it runs pretty smoothly.
Yeah, and how many sort of database tables power this entire doc, right? Because in the doctorate program, we talk a lot about like figuring out what your databases are. So how many, because we've got a lot of obviously filters and lookups happening here, which folks are curious about, but how many actual tables are doing the powering of it?
Well, this is basically my database. These 5 tables are being pulled from the other doc. And then, yeah, I have a couple of other, well, the big tables, these two, this is the products, and this is definitely our biggest table.
Got it. Cool. And then, yeah,
there
you're
are
just
not
sort of
a lot of tables. There are not a lot of tables.
Yeah. And in the main doc that we saw, the CRM doc, how many tables power this one? I'm just curious.
Let's see. Yeah, it's basically stages. This is nothing. It's just
sure.
stages.
Some of these are just easy to look
then
up.
We have the customers, and the customers have locations and contacts.
Yeah.
Cool. And then the opportunities and our partners, which
Got
is that's the partners, the external doc that I mentioned before.
Got it. Very cool. We have another question here, which is, how do you keep private, AKA money or client data from most of the staff? Like, how do you think about privacy with data here?
I mean, the only people who have access to those docs are people who are supposed to have that information. I guess I would like, if I could, I would like to do some filters there, like more granular permissions. But
Sure.
since I can't do it right now in code, and I mean, I could do it with this type of formulas. But I guess we're a small team, 8 people, and just maybe 5 or 6 of the 8 people have access to Coda.
Yeah.
We are pretty small, so that's, I know that should be a very big problem with bigger companies, bigger
Yeah.
size.
Yeah. And it sounds like here, the way that you've used crossdoc is helpful. Like, okay, I've got the sort of the overarching view of everything in the CRM, and then I've got, I'm pushing the relevant data out to other docs where people need to be. But yeah, I think you're right. When we think about permissioning, that's more of a, it shifts and changes as more and more people join.
Right.
Great question, Sui. Is there a way to export to Google Slides? No, but what you can do is you can go into presentation mode with your Coda doc, so you can actually expand it to be full view. Yeah, present right there. So this is actually whenever we have our board meetings here at Coda, we actually create a Coda doc for our board meeting, which has the information we want to share, and then also a little area for the board to ask questions on a page by page basis, and we present this way. Yeah, but I would not be surprised if someone made a pack. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's see, we got another question. Once you use crossdoc, how do you get your modifications to update the core database? Good question. So I can field this one, Martine. Crossdoc is primarily a pushing out action, right? I want to take my clients table and put it here. I want to take my projects table and put it here. I want my goals and put it here. You can, with formulas, do some what we call crossdoc actions, which means then updating it back into that core area, but it uses formulas. And we've got some more details on that on our help center as well. Great question. Let's see. People just like love your doc, Martine. It's fantastic. Let's see. Femke has, if you changed anything and you want to use Control Z, you can do that. Control Z or Command Z works totally fine. If you make a mistake, that's totally okay. Let's see. Oh, someone's asking, can we explain a bit more about the user formula? Martine, could you just type equals user inside of your Coda doc? So if Martine presses enter, it says, hey, Martine, this is you. And Martine, can you hover over your lovely name there? So this pulls in whoever's looking at it. It says Martine's name. It has Martine's cool picture. It has Martine's email. Now, if I were to look at this doc, it would say Maria Marquis with my beautiful face and my email. So the user formula allows you to use this little, we call it an object, which just means a thing. So now what I could do is I could filter this table by the project owner equals the user, which means only Martine would see Martine's stuff. I would see mine. So it's a way for you to kind of connect the individuals with your stuff. Thanks, Martine. You can go ahead and delete that. We have a question from Carrie. Martine, do you use folders and like the Coda folders in your setup? And if so, how do you use them?
Yeah, well, basically just to get a structure here. So in this doc, for example, well, I always have my database hidden in a folder with every database inside. And well, in this case, this is maybe the biggest folder here in this doc. Yeah, but yeah, basically for organizing.
Nice. Very cool. So it sounds like you don't really use like the Coda workspace folders. It's just kind of, you have these different docs. Yeah.
Oh, you meant the Coda? Yeah. Well, I do have one Coda folder for our 3 docs.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I want to just, actually, someone also asked about why is the database thing grayed out? One thing that you can do in Coda, which Martine has done here, is you can hide pages. In this case, it just lets you kind of keep it clear, right? Martine has all of these awesome databases that power the doc, but you don't necessarily need to look at those when you're going about your day because he's built this doc so well. So you can choose the hidden pages to kind of just remove it from the visual field. And then you can decide, oh, like Martine did now, I want to be able to take a look at it. So I'm going to go ahead and show it. Now, Graham, to your question, does this allow you to hide from individuals? This is not like an IT setting. This is a aesthetic setting at this point in time. So hidden pages just allow you to make your docs. It's kind of like if I open up my phone and I have an app on my phone, I don't want to see all of the code that's powering the app. I just want to use my app. That's what Martine is doing here with the hidden folders. Yeah, great question. But you're not alone in this question. And subdoc permissioning and all of that is something that we're thinking through and what that might look like.
It will be amazing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Um, do you use any of the Zapier integrations or automations, Martine, for your work?
Yeah, I actually do.
Oh, cool.
I have only one, I believe. We use it for when I need to create a service ticket, which is the other doc, this one. Okay. I can send an email to a specific email address, and it gets created. I create a service ticket via. So maybe I'm driving or I'm out of the office and I want to create it. And my customer calls. I want to create a service ticket that at that moment, and I don't want to open the Coda app and do it manually there. I just send an email and that's it.
Yeah, so Femke, what Martine has done is he set up a Zapier integration of like, if something gets emailed to this email address, then I want a row to get added in Coda. Zapier is a really cool tool because it allows you to essentially create if-then automations between a bunch of different apps. And yes,
Right.
Todd, that's a wonderful article there. Ooh, we have a good question here around do you always separate tables in a dedicated area and use views everywhere else? Now, I have my opinion, but Martine, you've heard me pontificate on this. So can you talk through a little bit about tables and views from your perspective?
Yeah, I like to have a main table without filters or any type of I mean, just a clean table, and then add views to any other space or page, and create different views, even several views of that main table.
Yeah.
That's the way I at least that's the way I like to do it.
And this is we recommend this approach of like, put your big giant table in one page that's like untouched, and then mess with it with views everywhere else, because this allows you to do a couple things. Number one, it means you're not copying and pasting and having duplicative data, because if you have duplicative data, it's a recipe for making a mistake. And a view automatically responds to whatever's happening in any other location. It also allows you to actually have a more performant doc, because you've got that raw data that you're then manipulating elsewhere, instead of here's my data with a bunch of other stuff and I'm pulling that into my views. It's nice and streamlined. And I think it's just a really good discipline. It's what app designers do when they're building apps, and we can do the same with our docs. Martine, can you talk a little bit about your shortcuts over there on the left? We've got some folks going, ooh, what's that about?
Oh yeah. So yeah, basically, I've created in each doc. You have the ability to create these shortcuts, and maybe the best place where I use those is in the mobile app, because when I have a shortcut here, it appears as a button as a menu button in the Coda app. So that's the best place or the best way I can do it. I normally do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically to have everything here. I mean, your important stuff as a shortcut up there.
Yeah, and can you show where the shortcuts are available? Like if you decide, oh, you know what, actividades, I need that to be definitely one of
Sure.
my
So let's say
shortcuts.
I want my snooze tickets here. I can get here and add a shortcut, and it will be here.
Perfect. And if you change your mind, you can go, no, I don't want that.
Remove shortcut, and that's it.
Perfect. And like Martine said, the nice thing about shortcuts is, number one, it puts them at the top over there on the left. So if you're in a really big doc, but you know, I really only go to these places as part of my day, you can have them at the top. And then when you open it up on your mobile device, those are the buttons along the bottom of the screen, which is helpful. Aristotle has a really good question, which is, can you cross-dock a table with just filter data or the whole origin? So you can actually do either or. So you can cross-dock a filtered view of a table. So maybe for if I'm dealing with performance reviews or pay, I could say, I just want to filter in pay that is equal to the user of this doc or equal to this person or this team. Or you can pull in the whole raw information. Martine, it seems like you use just pulling in the full raw data. Is that correct?
No,
No?
no, no, no. No, I filter and more than filter, I hide columns. I hide columns because if
Very
I,
cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
because if I don't hide it, I will be cross-docking everything.
Mhm.
So, for example, in my projects view, when I create a project here and I need it here, maybe I just need the project name and a couple of other columns, and that's the only thing I filter.
That's a really great point that we can, when we have a big giant database table, we can hide columns to help us focus, right? Because Martine has those 5 big tables that are powering the entire amazing enterprise level software app that he's built here using Coda, which is so cool. But then I don't need like all 12 of those columns, right? In this one, I maybe just need 2 or just need 3. And by filtering and hiding those columns appropriately, it allows us to be able to focus on exactly what we need in every moment, which is part of why I think Martine's doc feels so great, is because we only ever see exactly what we need.
Right.
Yeah, so in this case, Aristotle, you can, for hidden columns coming over with crossdock, I'm actually not sure if you have to hide them in the source or not, so I don't want to speak to it, but you could, it's certainly possible. Yeah. Wonderful. Martine, we've got about 8 minutes left. So I would love for you to show us maybe one of the other docs that you use, either the
Yeah.
partners or external. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. So this is a service doc that we use. So the service manager he leads in this doc. We have a cool dashboard here. It is showing, of course, data in real time. So this is right now. Let's say, for example, this is all the service or activities that we have completed today. There's this one left, and none of them are in process right now. So so this is a service ticket view. We have here a timer. We get the timer from the technicians when they are on site. They have the basic information about the customer, the location, the different tasks they need to do when they are on site. And let's say if let me go ahead and go to another one and see if there's already done. So for example, all the technician notes, and even as when they upload a picture of the work they've done. So yeah, this is the main dashboard. We have the service tickets that we a pretty simple dashboard here. We have the count of the service tickets per month, and the time, the average time we take on each activity, which is also represented here. And then different other metrics. So we still have 12 tickets to confirm, because when the technician goes on site, they click completed, they stop the timer, and then the service manager calls the customer. And I for example, when I see this, I know that I have 12 tickets that have still need to be closed. And then we have this is pure filter. We have a snooze function here. So when I have a ticket, sometimes we receive a call from a customer, and then they just, I don't know, they went on vacations, and we can just set a date here and snooze that ticket. So I have a clean view here, and then since it is a date field, they come back when the day arrive. So yeah, we have that's basically how it works. And let's see what else we have here. Yeah, this is basically the activities. We do have, when we close tickets, we send some forms of surveys. So we have a couple of here. Yeah, this is basically information from the customer. Oh, this is something this is it's still new. We don't have it yet, but we are working in a project, internal project here, to create a QR code to print in I don't know, it could be cards or to snap those in the refrigerator or something like that, so that
Yeah.
they have a QR code to create that takes them to a form. So
Cool.
they have access to contact us all the time, that we are
Yeah.
reachable. So if they have our card with the QR, or the QR is pasted in the fridge or whatever,
Mhm.
they go with the phone and basically take a picture of this, and this will take us with a they take to a pre-populated form,
Oh, it's
which
Coda
is in
form.
this
Cool.
basically, yeah,
Yeah.
and when with the preloaded customers, so we already know
Nice.
when they send us this ticket, we already know that this is coming from.
Very
Um,
cool.
yeah, so this is basically it, and in the service. And in the partner view, this is an external, as I told you before, is an external doc. So what we do here, let's say, let me do this is also a cross doc. So I will go ahead and sync my, I'm sorry, let me go ahead and sync here.
Yeah.
And if Maria comes up here, I will see the opportunity that we are working on right here. I need to sync it again, I believe. But
Well,
anyway.
I think I'm not set to close one yet, maybe. I think that might be what it is.
Oh, no. This is actually cool. This is actually cool.
Oh,
I don't know. I know why. So when we need to publish that opportunity. It's already won.
very
Yeah, we need to
cool.
publish so that the partner can see it.
Mhm.
It's because we need to be sure that we are putting all the amounts correctly and calculate all the
Mhm.
commissions. We do that manually. In this case, Maria, here, if I click publish, I can now go here and let me go ahead and sync it.
Yeah.
Opportunities.
I just love the icon that you've chosen here, like as a reminder. Such a good design moment.
Yeah, it's just a reminder that it is a crosstalk.
Mhm.
Okay, now it should bring you here. Let me see.
Mhm.
Maybe I need to do it again.
Mhm.
Yeah, but the thing is that this happens each hour.
Yeah.
So we publish an opportunity, and our partner is able to see the opportunity here.
Yeah.
So it is divided by the two companies we have here, and it has a couple of charts. So
Mhm.
they are able to see how much money they are making with by referring customers to us. And the next
Nice.
step here is to create since this is a doc that they have access to, create a new project button, so they
Mhm.
can just upload the project and send that project to us,
Cool.
and we can work and quote the project. And this
Oh
is
my gosh.
the same
I love
thing
it.
with the QR code. The same thing with the QR codes.
Yeah.
If I go to partners, these are my partners. This is a QR code. So we
Mhm.
want to print souvenirs and fill the office of a partner with our QR code, so they have
Yeah.
access to us and send us customers this way.
Yeah. Wow. I am so I'm just like, oh, Martine, this is the best. Because what I love is that you've built an a tool that is completely what you and your organization need.
Exactly.
Like it is something that is just for you. It follows your workflow exactly. And you've just paid so much attention to the user experience and the user interface. It's just gorgeous. We only have a little bit more time. So I just want to make sure there's two things folks want to know. Do you have a published doc that gives like a starting point with what you've got here?
No, I'm more than glad to share this, but I haven't published anything because I haven't had the time to make all the setup instructions,
Sure.
and that's basically it. But of course, if someone needs a copy of the doc, I will be more than glad to share it.
Excellent. And then, this series of docs rather, is huge, right? You've built a complete business operating system. So I would love to know, what is your advice to people who are like, wow, I saw Martine's amazing doc. How do I start? Oh, I want to know. What would be your advice to someone who has a similar sized business problem to solve and they're just getting started with Coda? What would be your advice?
Get COVID first, and no, I mean, no, really, you need time, definitely. First, try to lay it out. Maybe do something like the Miro here, or it could be.
Yeah.
Sometimes I even have a pen and paper and just start scratching it out. Try to lay it out first,
Yeah.
and then just think of the important stuff that you have or do in your own business. Or whatever it is, and start from there. When I started this, I basically created just a CRM and the opportunities. I wanted to take notes and keep my meetings and my tasks up until I closed the deal, and then I started building from that. So that would be my advice. Try to sketch it out and start from there.
Yeah, because I noticed that across the board with your doc. Also, folks are wondering if you could share your Miro diagram because it was super helpful for them.
Yeah, sure.
But that you really thought about what do I want the experience of this to be, right? Everything from the organization of the CRM to, okay, I have an opportunity. What are the things I need to do from this? But by sketching it out like you've done here, it can start to help everybody figure out, well, what do I actually need to do? It's not, I have to build a whole thing just like Martine. It's like, well, I have to figure out, what does my day look like? What do I want? And then, like Martine said, he started with just the first pillar that we see here and then added on from there as he started exploring and figuring out what he needed. Ah, Martine, I am so inspired. I could talk to you for another 3 hours about this, as I'm sure everybody else here on the call could. I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to share your brilliance and your approach, and just for us to bask in the glory that is this doc. It's so great. I'm sorry that COVID was part of making it possible, but I'm glad that you came out on the other end. Folks who are here who want to learn more about you, Martine, where's the best way for them to find you?
My email address, I will paste it here in the chat.
Great.
Maybe that's the best way.
Mhm. Wonderful.
Yeah, so there's my email address, and I'm more than glad to help anyone. I mean, I don't consider myself an expert, but of course the community, Coda community is so great. I've been, I mean, this series of dogs are like, I've been copying and pasting different ideas from different dogs. So the community is the best, and you can really start from there.
Excellent. Awesome. Well, Martine, the next time I'm in Ecuador, we're going to go to the Galapagos, and we're also going to figure out how I can get a cool home lighting system, because that would be amazing. Thank you so much, Martine. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank
Very
you,
nice
everyone,
seeing you
for
again.
joining us here today. Have fun, start exploring, start sketching, start building, and then start building your second version. That's one of the things that I love about Coda, is that you don't have to be perfect right away. Start small, add on, and follow your creativity. All right, y'all. Take care. See you around.
Thank
Bye.
you. Goodbye.